I needed to take a break between projects because, motherfuck, one's very different than the other. And if I don't clear my mind between, I'll end up just fucking just sloshing my sensibility between one and the other, which won't be a good thing. They're very different projects. Um, but what I find handy is that I can actually write about different projects during the day with a little bit of separation. Some people will notice that I do have hair because a friend of mine said, "Why do you always wear the baseball hat?" Fucking. It's because of what I've done all my goddamn life. And frankly, I have more hair than my father had, but then again, I've also not gone through chemotherapy. So go figure where his hair went. I'm gonna try and make this short because I don't want to do a long one today. I just needed to get away from what I was doing. When you're writing a Japanese short story and then you have to write a book on parenting, it's two fucking different things. Oh God, that's so true. If you had any idea, like how Japanese parents are a little bit like cranes, and that they kill their own. And that's not what that particular story is all about, but it could be. It could just as well be. And I like where I keep my here, let me try and put this in a different place to see if this fucking changes anything. I notice when I look at the camera, it looks like I'm looking over the camera, and I look at me, I think it looks like I'm looking at you, but I have fucking no idea. And if there's any feedback, let me know. I don't know. People don't have feedback because there's only two people watching the channel anyway. I have hair. I have a lot of hair. One time I went to a barber. He said I should charge you twice as much. I said, for what? He said, you have too much hair. He said, every follicle that you have, there's two fucking hairs growing out of it instead of just one like normal people. So I have to cut twice as hard. I need my shears to be twice as sharp. And I said, how the fuck do I change that for you, Mr. Italian guy? And he said, maybe you buy me a pizza. That was fictionalized. Some of it was true. Some of it was true. Not all of it. And most of what I say is never true. Well, that's not true either. I want to find out how the Italian guy died. And that means I have to ask the gardener, who I don't like. Was that completely, like, fucking off the wall, obscure? It should have been. But then again, you need to be me and live in a foreign country where nobody knows what you're saying anyway. I love that part. Like I walk out of here and fucking all these people speak Spanish, and I just walk around here speaking English, and I tell them all about shit they don't want to hear. And they would never pay attention to me if I was speaking Spanish. But I persevere, and I just keep fucking talking anyway in English, which they don't understand. Which brings me to my topic. See, now you thought this was going nowhere. How wrong can you be? You're looking at a guy who keeps. Here. You see, like, there's things in the background and you just don't understand them. You see this dead fucking piece of shit? That is, it's unwatered mint. Menta. And um, it, it serves a purpose, and it's not necessarily a horrible purpose, but it does keep the fucking mosquitoes away. And he keeps trying to get to the subject, which I'm very close to, because I'm talking to an audience, and I have to know what they really want, which is exactly the point of this video. Who the fuck is your audience? And my goddamn friend proved it to me by sending me one of his fucking stories that he pissed me off with. Oh, he sent me the story. Spanish people making noise when available. Um, he sent me this story and he thinks it's brilliant. Well, I said, yeah, it's brilliant if you cut it down from 19,000 words to about 4,000 and and have more respect for your reader, which he's got none of. He fattens up everything. Like you'll have a dialogue where two people say the same thing fucking 10 times in a row, and you're supposed to be interested as a reader. Well, no, that's not the way that works. If you say it one time and you respect your reader, and the reader fucking understands what the hell you said the first time, then you don't need to say it again. Unless, of course, you fucked it up the first time. Then you should have said it better the first time and not tormented your reader. I say directly to the party in question. Do not torment the reader. Now, there's exceptions to that rule. James Joyce, okay, he pretty much tormented a reader. But then, if you take Finnegan's Wake and you read it out loud, it's a completely different experience than if you have to read it for a classroom where the teacher's going to tell you what to think about, like, all these fucking things that you don't give a damn about, and that you don't probably find to be true. In any case, the whole idea of what I'm trying to say right now is, when you are writing to an audience. Now, the audience can always vary. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, when I wrote documentation for a software, you look at it very much nuts and bolts of, like, what does this person need to know in order to get something done, A to B. A to B to C. How do they do that? Well, you follow the bouncing ball. Then there's the other instance where you write things that are horribly fucking boring, but you do it in a charming way. Like I'm writing a book right now, which is sort of funny, on parenting, which has to do with making people not feel horribly nervous about having their first child. Well, do you want to do that with a little bit of life in there? Something that doesn't seem to say that, oh no, this is a horror fucking story, and you'll just be terrified. One of the funniest things that ever happened was when my wife's water broke for my only organic child. Had to do with the fact that we were sitting there on a couch, just waiting for it to happen. I think she was a little bit overdue. I'm not quite exactly sure that that's the case. But we were sitting there and watching something very humorous, and this person on the TV put their tongue on a piece of ice that came fresh out of the freezer, and their tongue froze to the ice cube tray. Well, she started laughing, the water broke, and then we ended up in the hospital. Sorry, that was a great sentence. You may not have been paying attention. But who is your audience? And that's something that fucking goddamn writers just completely ignore all the time. I don't have to have an audience. I just want to tell my story. Oh, well then fucking go masturbate in the bathroom, you dickhead. Because all you're doing there is telling a story to no one, which is essentially masturbating in a bathroom. Just make sure you don't plug the fucking drain, douchebag. So, my point is, if I have a point, it's not on the top of my head. The point is that you have to have an audience. There has to be somebody that you're speaking to. Otherwise, why the fuck are you writing? And if you're writing for yourself, that's a fucking completely different thing, which is fine. Take a journal, write in a journal, write to yourself. Write, dear journal. Blah. And that's fine. But know who your audience is all the time. If you want to write a bestseller, you're not going to write a fucking bestseller by sitting there and masturbating in the bathroom. That was fucking obscure, wasn't it? You're not going to be successful. I'll put it that way. If you think that writing is masturbation, well, that's fine. What do I need you to do? Here's a takeaway point. Who is your audience? Why are they interested? That's my fucked up finger. It'll be better in a couple days. Why are they interested? Do you know who do you know temporary cripple? Do you know who they are? And why will they be interested in what the fuck you have to say? If you don't have that in mind when you start writing, well, it's not, you don't have to have that in mind exactly when you start writing. In fact, you can write a whole bunch of bullshit and then fucking come back to it and go like, okay, who is my real reader, and like, how do I edit this down to make it interesting to a group of people who were not perhaps predefined, but who are defined now. That's fine. Go that way. But what you can't do is just vomit up a whole bunch of fucking words. And I'm talking like a half a ton of fucking words. And then put it out there and expect every reader to be patient to like fucking wade through all the crap that you threw down because you had no self-governance. You really, really need to look at what you do and say, who the fuck is going to read this and why are they going to read it? If you don't do that, you're going to end up with a just fucking hunk of shit that meets a fucking word count. Yeah, I was again pushing at that person who sent me that fucking piece of shit that he made me read, which took 2 fucking hours and it should have taken 15 minutes. There were too many fucking words. Too many words. Because you're being inefficient and fucking just like lazing about, having some form of self-indulgence and completely ignoring the fucking audience. Ignore the audience when you first write. Fine. Then look at it, figure out what the fuck you're trying to do, and trim the fuck out of the goddamn thing so that it meets the audience's needs. Why is that so hard? Are you intentionally trying to bore your audience? Are you trying to make people hate you? Well, people could argue that about my fucking channel. Especially if they're writers and they try to do anything having to do with writing. Audience is important. You might want to try thinking about it. You might want to try doing something about it. You might want to try actually meeting the needs of the audience, regardless of what you do at the first round of draft. Just fucking write the thing and then worry about it later. But at some point, fucking have the self-conscious position where you fucking do something right